San Jose, he lost to Andre Agassi in the finals of the Sybase Open, and last month failed in his quest for another Grand Slam title at the Australian Open. But Philadelphia is his kind of town. He won his first professional championship right here back in 1990. And he's back to defend the title he won last year. Today he meets Tommy Haas. It's next. From the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, it is the Advantage Championships. And today's semifinal action, the #1 player in the world, Pete Sampras, goes against #6 seed Tommy Haas out of Germany. Good afternoon, everybody. Barry McKay with you on our third straight week of coverage here on the American Tour. And certainly we're off to a flying start. This tournament has a great history of some of the great champions of the past. Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, Pete Sampras, and even my old friend Rod Laver won it back in 1974. But Pete Sampras did not have an easy time getting into this semifinal. Let's have a look at the draw. He was just 2 points away from getting knocked out in the first round to Xavier Malisse. Then he beat Chang Chalkin, and now he takes on Tommy Haas. So certainly Sampras has had to put together some very good matches in order to get into this semifinal. Joining me today, my colleague Leif Shires. And Leif, indoor tennis totally different from the outdoor game. What makes Sampras such a good player indoors?
Well, the first reason, of course, his big serve. When he can hold his serve easily, he puts a lot of pressure on his opponent, and Tommy Haas is going to have that pressure because Sampras is going to serve well. He always plays well here in Philadelphia, so the pressure is on Haas to break the Sampras serve.
Pete Sampras takes on Tommy Haas. Oh, look at Pete Sampras.
Of course, the #1 player in the world, 5 years running now, the best player. Of course, he has had a bumpy road here in '98. He lost to Kuchera in the Australian Open, and he lost to Agassi, surprisingly, in the finals of San Jose. So he has to be ready today because he's taking on a supercharged Tommy Haas, the young German. He was the youngest player in the top 50 on the ATP Tour rankings, but don't be fooled. He's got a lot of experience. He's beaten guys like Carlos Moyer and Yevgeny Kafelnikov, so he can play big-time tennis, and he is looking to move up quickly. In the quarterfinals here, he took on a very game Jeff Tarango. Tarango, of course, has great ground strokes, and you can see Haas matched him stroke for stroke. This, of course, was match point in the third set, and you can see Haas is strong and fast, and he can move the ball well around the court.
Tommy Haas, who has spent the last 6 years of his life working for this moment down in Florida with Nick Bollettieri, and he is a very tough customer. We caught up with Tommy Haas, and we asked him, what's it like to play against the best player in the world, Pete Sampras?
It's always exciting to play against a top player, especially against Pete, which is still #1. You know, we played a couple of times before, and it's been a while now, and I think it's time again to play against each other. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, and just going to try my best.
He will have to be at his best today. On the left, Tommy Haas, the youngster from Germany. On the right, the best tennis player in the world, maybe the best of all times. That's our semifinal. We'll have it for you. The Advantage Championships on a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. The best player in the world taking on the #6 seed Tommy Haas here in Philadelphia. Haas, we have got to watch him closely, Leif. This kid is dangerous, and as you mentioned, he knows how to play. Let's have a look at Pete Sampras, the #1 seed. What more can be said about perhaps the greatest player of all times?
And he's built for speed, a great size for tennis. He moves well around the court. He's very fluid on that serve, and of course he's got pretty good height too. And you can see he's still #1. Korda has had a couple of weeks where he could have made up that difference, but he did not. And you can see no titles yet this year.
It's really interesting, Leif, when you look at that prize
money. That's a big surprise. No titles.
Yep, under 100,000 with 2 tournaments under his belt already. He would love to win here. He has been very successful in Philadelphia, as we can see right here, winning this title in '90, '92, and '97. The very first tournament that he ever won on the tour right here in Philadelphia. And so he likes it here. He's comfortable. Pete Sampras ready. A couple of minutes. His opponent tonight, certainly one of the rising stars. Everybody says, where are the new players? Here's one right here. Tommy Haas, 6'2". And Leif, this guy, I think, is much more talented than people give him credit for.
He really can play good tennis. Obviously, his strength is his ground strokes, but he can play from the front court as well. 43 in the world rankings, but moving up. This is a guy on the rise. He's on a fast elevator up. Of course, he plays out of the Bollettieri Tennis Academy, lives in Bradenton. In fact, he shares a condo with Nick Bollettieri. Nick takes the other 4 condos, and Tommy has the one down on the end. So he's reaching some new levels here with only his 3rd tour semifinal. But again, a good size for a tennis player. 6'2", strong, fast, moves around the court well. And this guy's eager. He's not going to back off a challenge.
He's had some good wins, too. This kid has beaten some of the top players in the game.
Yeah, he's beaten Moya, beaten Kafelnikov. He played top-flight tennis. All he has to do is get the consistency together. Sometimes he can make a few mistakes, but when he gets his game together, he's as tough as anyone out there.
Tommy Haas ready to go. Look at their head-to-head. They've played twice. Sampras up 2-zip. Back in Basel. Sampras a 3-set winner.
Well, they played twice that year in '96. Pete also beat him in Indianapolis on hard courts outdoors. So I think it was good that Haas got that set, and at least he's won a set against Sampras, had a taste of what it likes to beat the best player in the world, at least in a set.
Tommy Haas, certainly one of the up-and-coming young players. It's interesting how players analyze their own games. We asked Tommy Haas, what about his own game, the game of Tommy Haas?
Well, I think I'm a pretty good all-round player. You know, I still have to work on maybe coming into the net a couple more times, but I have a pretty decent first serve. My forehand is a pretty good weapon. I think when I get short balls, opportunities, you know, I try to move the other guy. My backhand is good. Nobody really has any weaknesses anymore anyway in this game today. So you're just going to have to try to fight and have a good day and try your best.
It's an interesting comment. Nobody has any weaknesses in this game anymore. You know, it's so true, Leaf. If you look at the top 50 players in the world, very little between those guys.
Yeah, he's almost right on the button. Everyone hides their weaknesses if they do have them very well. It's just tough to get to them. I think Haas's weakness right now is probably his experience. You know, he's going up against a lot today, playing the greatest player of the last 25 years. Some think the greatest ever. So that is a tough challenge in and of itself.
Would you say, Leaf, that this moment for Tommy Haas, perhaps the biggest in his career to date?
Yeah, I think it's a win-win. Even if he loses, he's going to build more confidence. Should he win, it's a great catapult for him to keep going. And certainly Pete Sampras is not afraid of any new challenge himself. There's Lars Graf in the chair, one of the ATP Tour umpires.
We're ready to go. This is best of 3. First game, first set. Tommy Haas, top of your picture, serving now to Pete Sampras. Sampras goes long with the backhand, 15 love. First game always one of the toughest to play. We've said it before, but it really is when you serve indoors.
Yeah, you can see Tommy Haas taking a few deep breaths, trying to calm himself down. These are big moments here early on.
Big serve down the center.
Well, that's the kind of point he wants to get. He'd like to just get that first game behind him so he can look to Sampras' serve. But again, he wants to slow himself down at the same time. So he's got to try and manage himself pretty effectively this first game.
Another solid serve down the center, 115 miles per hour, and so Tommy Haas comes up with 2 big ones down the center. Pete trying to get a feel for this court. He's played here often. Won this tournament last year. Sampras in with one of the best forehands. He really gets his weight behind that shot.
It's a great shot, and you know, I tell you, he's not underestimating Haas. You know, he says, hey, this kid's got a good all-around game. He does everything well. He has a good backhand, and he fights hard, so I have to be ready. I have to play my best.
Game point for Haas, 40-15. Another deep shot, and so Tommy Haas plays a very solid first game. Tommy Haas with the first game. 1-love. Stay with us. We're at the Advantage semifinals from Philadelphia. Has been forced into a backhand error on the first point of the second game of the first set. He is down love 15 to Tommy Haas. Open court. Haas drills the backhand. He looks very sharp early here, Haas does.
And again, he's gotten a lot of balls back in play, and he's going for his shots. You know, he's not backing away.
I wonder if you're Pete Sampras. He walks out here every match he plays, Leaf. Guys are after him. He's the best player in the world. What a target.
Now we talk about what makes him so tough indoors. He had the best winning percentage of any player last year. Almost 900% match wins. There's Paul Anico, Pete Sampras' coach and traveling companion. Great mutual respect that drives that relationship. Paul Anico, a former top 10 player himself.
Boy, Boy, there's a guy that used to love to come in behind and return a serve.
The master of the chip and charge.
Oh, the forehand goes long. And so now Sampras in trouble early here on his very first service. Down double break point. The youngster from Germany, Tommy Haas. Just long. Sampras misses, and so Tommy Haas has broken serve in the very second game of this match. It is 2 games to love. Tommy Haas.
Well, and he has come through pretty comfortably. Beat Vince Spadea, a very good American player, convincingly in the first round. Fernando Meligini retired with an injury, and of course a good quarterfinal when he has Tarango. And there was some fireworks in that match. Tarango was getting upset about some calls, tried to throw Haas off a bit.
Tommy Haas, born in Hamburg, Germany, started playing tennis at the ripe old age of 4 with his dad, who was his coach at that time. It's going to go wide. Now, what's going through Sampras' mind here early, Leith? He's down a break. What's he thinking about right now?
Well, he's turning up the focus a little bit. He's saying, hey, I don't want to get behind again. I want to try and break back right now. He knows as well as anyone the best time to break back is that very next game.
Just watching the tape, 15 all, a big game for Haas to try and go up 3-love here early. Who has broken both of his ankles back in '95, broke one, and then the very next year broke the other one, so he's had a lot to overcome. No, there's a miss hit from Sampras off that backhand, and so Tommy Haas now 1 point away from a 3-love lead.
Well, I don't think Haas could have envisioned a better start. He certainly is capitalizing on the Sampras errors, getting a lot of first serves in.
Second serve, still game point. It's a splendid shot by him. Sampras with one of his best approaches off the return of serve lead. Boy, that was a beauty.
Yeah, I think he was a little frustrated by the mistakes he's been making. He just went for it, and that ball right down the line. Again, he takes this one inside, recognizes it's a good shot, gets him behind it.
No, the backhand catches the tape, and so Tommy Haas, the youngster from Germany, up 3-love. Can he do it? Stay with us on Fox Sports Net. Sampras has opened up with his first service ace of the game. He is up 15-love, but down love 15. And look back at this last point quickly, right down the center. Sampras with an ace, 15-love. Pete, who has now 7 unforced errors already after 3 games. Haas only 1. Oh, double fault.
Boy, and that's not the Pete Sampras you know.
He looks a little sluggish, doesn't he, right now?
Definitely not at his best. That's a good chance for Haas, certainly, but Sampras now struggling to get it together.
Now smoothing out that serve. 118 miles per hour down the center.
Again, that serve down the tee, a very good risk. You know, it's the low part of the net. If you're struggling with your serve, take a little bit off it and get it in. He didn't hit that 130, he hit it 118, so he's trying to get that first one in now.
Yes, and a string went. They see Sampras break those strings so openly, you could hear it from up here.
Well, he's got the tightest strings of anyone on the tour. Remember, he only has an 85 square inch frame, and that's strung at 75 pounds. So I mean, it's dramatically tight, strung with a very thin gut. The gauge is 17.5 to 18 gauge. And a good first volley. I don't see him miss many of these.
That's where it broke, right on that overhead. He knew it. Sampras taking a lot of time, too, on that racket change. I think that's a smart play. Slow things down a little bit. Game point. Sampras trying to get on the board here in the first set. Ooh, just long. Thought he had an ace.
And you can see Haas is pretty much standing almost right on that sideline. So I think Pete Sampras is going to go down the middle until Haas starts covering him.
No, that'll go long, and Sampras again is just kind of spraying that backhand.
I'll tell you what, Tommy Haas had some juice on that backhand. He drove that one very deep, and even Sampras couldn't handle it. This kid can put some power behind those backhands. He's got a tremendous one-hander.
Second serve, game point for Sampras.
Oh, look at that. 8 on 4s, and that's been the key. That's a great shot. Sampras finally rolls that forehand right into the corner, and so Pete Sampras holds 3 games to 1 Haas. Pete Sampras has played well, but he's struggled. Xavier Malisse out of Belgium, 17-year-old qualifier. At 5-all in the third, he was 2 points away. Boy, that was a tough round for Pete, and of course beating Godenzian, the always tough Shang Chalkin from Holland. Of course, Sampras beat Chalkin in the semifinals here last year, so it was a familiar face across the net for him.
Yeah, we were here. Best rally of the match right here. Very solid play from Sampras.
Well, Barry, I think I sensed the volume getting turned up a little bit by Pete Sampras. He looked like he was in a better rhythm. He was moving better. And when you match Pete Sampras ground stroke for ground stroke, this is what's going to happen. Look at inside the baseline. He's established the advantage. And he capitalizes with that forehand.
Above 15. Oh, yes. Tommy Haas rolls that backhand into the open court.
Rolled it, man. He blistered that. Look at the preparation. He gets his racket back. Nice up high. You see, he comes down from under the ball and drives flat through it. Great penetration on that.
No, that's too long. This court surface called Mondo 10, and it is medium pace. Roll it down in layers, and then it has some nice topping on the very top layer, and so it plays medium fast, and you're going to see some good rallies out here. That's the beauty of a nice medium pace court. Just wide. Everybody says men's tennis is boom, boom, all serve and volley. I don't see it, Leaf. I see some terrific rallies and a lot of great baseliners playing this game. No.
One more note about the court. It's interesting. What they've done is they've layered down some softer rubberized material underneath a very hard rubberized material on the top. So you get the true bounce of a hard court, yet when you run on it, you get the cushion from the soft layer underneath. Yeah. So it's a really nice court for the guys to play on.
Comes together right under the net. Just long. Second serve. Big game here for Haas. He'd like to hold and get that 4-1 lead. Just in. No, just over the baseline. Sampras goes again for the forehand winner.
You see, Pete Sampras likes to roll the backhand very deep, and when he senses a short return, that's when he drives the next ball. Very smart tennis.
Game point, Haas. It's going to go long. The slice goes over the baseline, and so Tommy Haas holds 4-1. First set, Haas. In Advantage Championships from the Core State Center in Philadelphia on the left, the best player in the world, Pete Sampras, going against the youngster from Germany, Tommy Haas. Sampras down a break, 4-1. And Barry McKay along with Leif Shires. Semifinal action here on Fox Sports Net. Tommy Haas broke in the second game. It is now 4-1 Haas. First set, Sampras serving 15-love. Haas right now, Leif, content to keep the ball in play, just waiting for Sampras to make some errors, and he's made a ton of them. He had 8 errors just a game ago. Another string. I think another string broke. It sure did. That's 2 overheads, 2 broken strings.
Well, in San Jose, Sampras popped 5 strings playing on Agassi, and he has 2 already today.
There goes another racket. He throws it over there.
I'm sure he's throwing it to the stringer, saying, hey, string this one up 75 pounds like I like it.
That is amazing. And Sampras will go to the bag once again. What happens now, Leif? You break a racket like this, even though the strings are the same, that handle might be slightly different.
That's right. The guys try and make them exactly the same. When I had my rackets, they said these 2 rackets are exactly the same, but they never were quite exactly the same. So obviously they're as close as they can get. So Pete's going to feel comfortable with this one, I'm sure. But again, he gets all his rackets strung before the match. He never goes into a match with strings that have already been played with. So that's a fresh set of gut right there.
And very thin gauge and very tight. They're up at about 80 pounds, and it's a very thin, almost 17 gauge gut. So that racket, he's taking a chance with those kind of very thin strings. Second serve. And so Sampras holds 4-2 Haas, second set. Weeknights at semifinals here from Philadelphia, the Core State Center. Tommy Haas.
A great return from Sampras there, and I think he's got to turn up the heat on the service return a little bit more. He did it well there.
Tommy Haas serving now up 4-2. This is the semifinals of the Advantage Championships on Barry McKay along with Leif Shires on Fox Sports Net. A look at what is happening backstage here. Here is the stringer getting rid of the rest of those strings on that racket that Pete just fired him, and they are frantically going for a restring here, trying to get him back the racket that he likes so much. Boy, there's some fast action back there, Leif. Talk about pressure.
It's only 15 feet from the court, and those guys are working on rackets of Pete simultaneously there, so one will be done fairly quickly.
There's a ball I thought could come in behind. Yes. Haas changes up.
Well, you can't serve up that short ball in the middle of the court against anyone on the tour these days, and Sampras comes up with a short ball here. This reply doesn't do enough. Look at Haas. He lines it up. Rips that inside out. It's one of his improved shots is that forehand. He's not making as many errors off it as he used to.
15-30, big point here for Tommy Haas. Oh, yes. Sampras with his best backhand of the night. Beautiful shot up the line.
I'll tell you, it's a real treat in the 1990s to see 2 guys trading one-handed backhands. Almost all the guys have two-handers. These are 2 great backhands facing off. Now, who's going to be the first guy to go down the line? Nope, not Haas. But that short one, Pete's going to take right down the line.
Double break point, 15-40. 7th game, first set. Biggest point of the match right here. Yes, Sampras breaks. Best game Sampras has played all night. He breaks. They are going at it in the stringing room. Can they do it on time? Stay with us. We're on Fox Sports Net watching the stringer. Now with new tennis balls, they change it 7 and 9. Missed his first serve. This is his second serve. And Haas rolls that backhand up the line. Sampras, who said he has a lot of respect for the Tommy Haas backhand. This kid's competing. I'll tell you, he knows how to play good points. Plays the big points well. Love 15. Trouble. Oh, no. Wide open court. A wide open court for Haas, and he misses it down the line. That was a big point.
You know, that's the type of point that Tommy Haas would win 100% of the time against anyone but the best player in the world. A little bit of pressure makes Haas think he's got to hit a better shot than he needs to.
Boy, he knew it, too. Look at this.
But again, that's the way to treat it. Just smile and forget about it. Move on and play the next point.
15 all. Haas still with the lead, but Sampras is back on serve if he can hold here. It's wide.
Raul Ordonez, coach at Tommy Haas, of course, out of the Nick Bollettieri Academy. Raul's been a long-time instructor and coach down there, and traveling with Tommy throughout this '98 season and will throughout the rest of the year. I saw him with a page full of notes after all of Tommy's matches, and they go over the things that Raul feels Tommy's doing well and the things he needs to work on.
That's good. Sampras steps in, drills the backhand down the line.
Well, beauty backhand. You know, you talk about what coaches do. Annacone doesn't really need to take that many notes because Sampras does so many good things on the court. And great power right through the hit.
He really stepped into that one. There is Paul Annacone making some notes of his own over there as Sampras goes down the middle, just wide.
See, he's got a smaller piece of paper. Look at that. Sampras is playing some good tennis now, isn't he? It's coming on.
Very solid shot. Well, 4 games all, first set. Back in 1990, Pete Sampras was right here. This was his first ATP Tour Championship right here in Philadelphia. What a happy young man he was. Went on to play such great tennis after that, but a very young Pete Sampras. And here is today's Pete Sampras at 4 games all, first set. He's put a few miles on and a few major championships since 1990, I believe.
You know, his first title, he has 52 titles now. So in 7 years, he's amassed the greatest collections of titles around.
Wow, Tommy Haas out wide, 121 miles per hour. Second ace of the night. Only holds 1 ball to serve, gets the second from the ball kid. Oh, that is too toughly.
Well, you can see where he finished off when he hit that ball down the line. It was well inside the baseline. Again, look at where Haas is. He's inside that baseline, looking for that point of attack. It's tough to hit that shot if you're behind the baseline. There he is, good step right into the hit.
Interesting because Sampras talked about Haas's backhand before the match. A lot of people think Haas with a big forehand, but Pete obviously respects that backhand. Now he hits the slice. Long.
Well, that point was like a chess match. You know, Haas was thinking, do I need to do more with this ball? And he did, a little bit too much. But again, Sampras looked like he was going to go down the line, rolled it cross court at the last second. Some great tactical tennis going on here right now.
Big points for both players. 30 all, 4 games all. Sampras would love to break and serve for the first set. Big chance, second serve. Sampras rarely takes that second serve lead and comes in behind it. We'll see if he does here. No. Again, Haas rolls that backhand into the open court. That is a weapon.
Well, I think Haas is starting to anticipate that cross-court shot from Sampras, because part of hitting this down the line shot is getting to it early. See how that little hop step gets him outside that ball, gives him that line back into the court.
Haas moves way over on the serve, down the center. No, just catches the tape. Well, we've seen another great backhand youngster, Gustavo Guga Kierton, play in both San Jose and Memphis. And I think these two youngsters both have excellent backhands.
And one-handers, too.
Exactly. Better than that. Sampras unloads with his best forehand of the night. Catches Haas moving the wrong direction.
Well, he looks like a different player now, doesn't he? Pete Sampras started out this set so slowly, but look at him now. He is in full gear. Drove that ball from well behind the baseline. Finds the opening here. Look at it come right to the camera.
Break point, Sampras, 4-all. Now a second serve opportunity. No, it's wide. Tommy Haas goes for a big second serve. Sampras breaks when we return. Sampras serves for the first set. Now for the first set, up 5-4 with a break. Sampras, who played that brilliant final here just a year ago against Patrick Rafter. Who would have thought that Rafter was going to go on and win the U.S. Open Championships? But that was quite a match last year. Sampras winning it. Smart play, takes it before it bounces. Leap, that ball could have caused trouble.
Yeah, anything floating like that, you've got to move to it quickly. You can see how this floating ball, watch Sampras move his feet and get in very quick.
Almost touches the net, has to put the brakes on there if he touches the net.
And those miss-hit shots are oftentimes the trickiest.
Well, let first serve. No net court judge. You're using a little automatic. There it is, the electronic net court caller. Strapped on there pretty well this week.
It's not going to fall off.
Hope that baby doesn't fall off. Called long, second serve. Just wide. There is the shot that's worked so well for him, Leaf, but he just missed it that time.
Well, he was making that shot in the opening games. And Raul Ordonez, his coach, obviously concerned now.
He thought it was a letter. We thought we might have heard a call from up here, but no call. And so Sampras, his second ace of the night, now stands at triple set point. And so Sampras holds. He wins the first set 6-4. He's come out of Florida to play up here in Philadelphia. Pete spending a lot of time in Tampa. That's his home, away from home, so to speak. And Tommy Haas spending a lot of time in Florida as well. Wonder if they flew U.S. Airways. Sampras got his, he kind of does that his own jet situation quite a bit.
That's right. Well, Pete lives up at Saddlebrook, the resort where a lot of tour players train. Some
late arrival arriving customers here. Pete waiting for him to have a seat. Old friend John McEnroe used to make sure everybody was seated, Leaf, before he played. Well, maybe we'd see him here this weekend. Not so. Haas now going for a little bit too much on that backhand.
Yeah, well, there wasn't much room in that corner. The ball came from the middle of the court. I think he'd like to drive that ball with his forehand.
No, another error, and suddenly Haas looking a little shaky here. First game, second set, he doesn't want to lose his serve early, Leaf, not to Sampras. That is wide. Well, a look back here, 1980, a couple of real pals. John McEnroe on the right, Jimmy Connors on the left. McEnroe's first win. What a match that was. I remember that match, actually. Those guys, Connors actually won that match against McEnroe. Surprised John was looking so happy. Hit by Sampras. So Haas with a chance.
Well, Sampras set that up beautifully. He drew drew Haas outside the doubles alley, but missed the forehand. You see him taking a practice thing, saying, "Come on, make that forehand go in."
Go long, and so Tommy Haas holds in the first game of the second set. 1-love Haas. Sampras serving now, down love 1, second set, but he has the first set. 6-4. Amazing how he came back late, because he was in big trouble there. Playing very shakily early. Sampras with the serve and volley. Well, Sampras plays some good tennis indoors, but if you look at the roster of great indoor players, here it is. Becker with 30 championships, Sampras 20, Ivanisevic, Chang, and Agassi. We're looking forward to seeing Boris Becker outdoors at Scottsdale. We'll be there next weekend. Our 4th straight stop on Fox Sports Net. So what a winter it's been, Leaf. We're off to a flying start. We've had 2 great finals with Philippoussis and Chang last week. The Agassi Sampras out at the Sybase the week before that, and who knows what it might be this week. Sampras now starting to loosen up with his 5th ace of the day. 124 miles an hour right down the center.
Well, he has come awake, hasn't he? He just has awake, and he's not giving away any free points on his serve now.
Sampras volleys behind Haas, catches him. 1-all. We are there when you're looking for the stories, all the sports inside and out. Fox Sports News Primetime tonight at 10. Check your local listings. Fox Sports News. Core State Center. This is where the Flyers play hockey. 76ers play basketball. But we've got tennis here today. No, that's long. What a fantastic facility for big league sports. The new Core State Center. There are some of the championships won by both the hockey and basketball stars. The Broad Street Bullies, they call those hockey guys. Sampras now starting to get in gear, rolls that forehand for a winner.
Well, obviously, the Flyers are on the road this week, but before they left, a couple of the guys, Ron Hextall and Peter Svoboda, came down to the locker room, traded a little jersey for jersey. Sampras got a Flyers jersey #1. Of course, Peter Svoboda scored the winning goal for the Czech Republic in the Olympic Games, so he's obviously on a high.
Drop shot. Too good. Sampras back quickly, knocks off the overhead. Sampras deceptively fast, don't you think, Leaf, for a big guy?
This isn't a bad play from Haas. He's got a chance here to win the point right here, but this lob just falls short. Just not enough depth.
15:30. Third game, second set. Sampras with a chance to break here. Second serve.
Boy, great second serve, and I'll tell you, he needed it there. One thing Haas hasn't done, though, is come into the net much. Sampras has started mixing up, coming in behind his serve a bit. Haas has been content to stay back, and I think Sampras is finding that rhythm comfortable now. So I think Haas maybe can add a few more attacks to the net.
Oh, just gets over. Haas gets a break. That ball, big slice, Leaf.
And that's a good break. And this ball just dies on the net. You can see it just hits the tape and dies right there. Look at that. Not even a bounce. Boy. Of course, he says, I didn't mean it, but I will take it, however.
Yeah. He's not sorry at all. Second serve. Game point for Haas to go up 2-1. Sampras with a wide open court, rolls the forehand, it catches the tape. Haas 2-1, second set. Sampras has just served his 6th ace of the match. 15 love now. Down 1-2, but with the first set. 123 miles per hour down the center. Boy, the difference as we look at the beautiful city of Philadelphia. Gorgeous night here, Saturday night. Boy, it was warm. We walked around town today, Leaf. Very nice weather. That is good.
I think Sampras tried to serve and volley. You see Haas saying, geez, I should do that every time.
Well, even though he made a couple backhand errors in that first set, I still think that's his weapon right now.
See, this is where Sampras is tough. You know, you've lost the first set. All of a sudden, you're not getting as many looks on the serve, and Sampras is starting to dominate his service games. It just puts that extra pressure on your own serve.
Just wide. And the umpire overrules. Boy, that's a little unusual.
Tips on the line.
Umpire saying the ball caught the line. Look at our first set stats.
You know, and most of these unforced errors right there came in the first 2 games, and then all of a sudden it was all of these. And that's pretty much the difference. Sampras has raised his level of play, and look, he's definitely more aggressive. 9 times to the net, he's won 8 of those points.
Ooh. A little casual on that little forehand, Leaf. That could have been trouble because it caught the line.
I think Haas was waiting for the call on that one.
Yeah. Big spinner on the first serve. Only 89 miles per hour, but big high jumping serve. Good variety on that first serve by Haas.
Haas gave away the advantage in that point. You know, I really felt he should have been in the net there. He had Sampras on the run. Instead, he just relied on some more ground strokes. And of course, Sampras is best when he's on the run like that.
Haas has only come in one time in this entire match, won the point. No, that's long. Pete did not like that call. It's about the most you'll see him complain. This umpire overruled a very tight serve a couple of moments ago. He will not overrule that call. 40-15. Goes wide, and so Tommy Haas holds. We are on serve here in this second set of the Advantage Championship semifinal action. Tommy Haas leading 3-2. State Center, the Advantage Championship semifinal action. Pete Sampras in the near court. Tommy Haas on the far side. I'm Barry McKay along with Lee Shirus on Fox Sports Net, bringing you this semifinal. Sampras has won the first set, 6-4. Haas is up 3-2 in the second. Sampras serving at 15 love.
Well, he's just starting to steamroll now on his serve. He won the first point, set up an easy overhead. That one, Haas could not get the ball back into play, so Sampras really is cruising on his serve now.
That is very solid from Tommy Haas. Pete got caught, had to hit a little half volley.
Again, look at the preparation. He gets that racket up high. Now he's going to line the ball up down the line, but he can snap it off cross court just as easily. You can see Sampras was leaning line.
Exactly. Well, Haas has passed him down the line so well. No call. It's number 8 for Sampras out wide. Haas agrees. Game point. I like this kid. He's got a lot of personality. He seems to really enjoy the game of relief. He loves to compete. And again, Sampras out wide with ace number 9. 3 games all. Let's have a look back now. Last week, Philippoussis, the big guy from Australia, and Michael Chang, and there it was. Philippoussis won that match convincingly, 6-3 and 6-2. And so Mark Philippoussis looking awfully tough. Hold that trophy up, and I'll tell you what, Leaf, he was impressive there in Memphis.
Well, if he continues to play as well as he did there, I mean, he's got to be a dark horse for a tournament like Wimbledon, where his aggressive game come on very strongly.
And he's talented. Everybody again talks about where are the new young players. Here's one, Tommy Haas. There was one, Mark Philippoussis. I'll tell you, that kid Kierton can hit the ball too.
There's Tommy Haas and Mark Philippoussis, both coached by Nick Bollettieri at the Bollettieri Academy in Bradenton.
We're going to see Philippoussis out in Scottsdale next weekend. That's where he served that bomb 142 miles per hour last year. We were there. What a day that was. Haas going for a big second serve, double faults.
Again, he rushed that. Didn't take much time after that first serve.
Tried that big second on set point, got him in trouble. He lost it. Now that's his second approach to net, and he wins that one. I agree, Lee. I think this kid ought to take more shots and come in behind him.
Yeah, well, this is a good chance for him. Anything in the middle of the court, you can see how he's pretty much invited into the net. It's pretty much the only time he's come in. Got to send him an invitation, Barry. He'll come in.
Maybe Haas ought to spend a little more time with Paul Annacone, Pete Sampras' coach, because Annacone, as we were saying earlier, came in behind virtually everything. I used to love to watch Annacone play. I used to kid him. I said, Paul, you would take those returns, come in and bring the baseline with you.
And he backed it up, too. He had great hands at the nets. He was one of the best drop volleys in the game.
Great touch. points now, 7th game, 30-all, second serve. Sampras in, miss hit, and a great play, I think, Lee. Put the pressure on.
You know, he hasn't done that much, but when you do it, it's such a change from the regular pattern. It changes Haas's look at the point. Again, chip and charge tennis. Get the ball deep, get a good position at the net.
That wasn't a Wimbledon point. I've never seen one. That's the way you play over there. And now a big opportunity for Sampras. Break point, 30-40. He'll get it. Oh, and it's a great shot by Sampras. Brilliant play from Pete Sampras. Tommy Haas lunges, and Sampras going full blast. Scoops it cross court. Stay with us. Sampras at 4-3. Missed a first serve down the center. This is a second serve. He's up 4-3 with a break. Has the first set. Oh, clean winner by Haas. Again, that backhand.
Again, this was break point last game. Sampras looks like he's going to go line, and at last second flips it cross court. Haas's Becker-like dive can't pull it off.
And he was there, Leaf. He anticipated that shot, and he still lost the point. Oh, yes, Sampras just eases that forehand volley behind Haas.
You know, when you serve and volley and you see your opponent take that first cross step to go to the open court, right about now, that's when Pete Sampras sees Haas go to that side of the court, and you want to volley behind.
15-all. It's long. Sampras in behind the short ball. That's the difference between Sampras and Haas, I think, Lee. Sampras sees the short ball, comes in behind it. Haas does not do that yet.
Yeah, well, you got to recognize when you're inside the baseline, you've got to carry the attack forward. Sampras has done that beautifully here today, and Haas, I think, has missed some chances. That's cost him.
Oh.
Haas with a two-handed return there.
Yeah, kind of blocked it back.
You got to improvise sometimes when you get that serving on the body. Again, watch how he gets the second hand right on the racket. Great little hands work there, just to add a little extra support.
We haven't seen him use the two-hander off the back end very much, but he did it effectively there. Second serve now, 30-all, big points.
Wow.
Very close second serve. Haas wants the double called.
It's on the line. Flat's on the line.
German to German.
Yeah.
Cardona says, hey, that ball looked out to me. Let's see if Sampras goes for this one now.
Sampras holds. 5-3 Sampras, second set. Tony Haas serving now, trying to stay alive in this match. Down 3-5. And down a set, 15 love.
Well, needless to say, he's got a hold here, but if he can raise his level of play, he's not out of this match.
Well, his third attempt at net, and he wins another point. Slice long, and so Sampras misses. When we return, Pete Sampras serves for the match. Just served his 10th ace as we rejoin this match now. Sampras 3 points away from a victory here in the semifinals. Second serve. Sampras again with that backhand up the line. My colleague Leif Shiras has gone courtside just in case this match ends. Another look at this backhand. Now watch how much room Haas has up the line to hit this ball. Plenty of room right in there, and he does. 15 all. Sampras again changing rackets on the. He has broken 3 strings to date. Trying to look carefully to see if there's another string. It does not look like it. He just decided to. Probably a string was about ready to go. 15 all. No call down the center. Ace number 11. 127 miles per hour. Yes. Haas. A solid return. Another look. Sampras, big follow through. Plenty of room down that line. Just wide. Second serve. Haas trying to stay in this match. Just catches the tape. And so now Pete Sampras has arrived at match point. It's long. Serve volley, there it is. Sampras, a very solid comeback from down 4-1 in that first set. This crowd gives him a big hand. Finally a smile. Paul Annacone can relax momentarily. So Pete Sampras moves into the finals here in Philadelphia. And we'll be down to talk to you, Pete. Stay right there. Sampras a winner in straight sets, 6-4 and 6-4. He moves into the finals. Serve and volley, Sampras. The serve, the volley. He's in the finals. Stay with us. The world, Pete Sampras signing some autographs courtside. He has won convincingly, 6-4 and 6-4. Leif Shiras is now with Tommy Haas. Leif.
Thank you, Barry. Tommy, you started out great and you had the advantage early. What do you think was the turning point for you?
Well, I think when I broke him in the first set, I had a good chance to maybe close out the set, but I think Pete started playing really well. He broke me back and got his confidence back, and then he didn't basically give me any chances on his service games anymore. He served really well today, I thought, but I'm happy the way I played.
Now, you're a young player. What do you take home from a match like this? How do you use this to build on?
Well, first of all, I'm very glad that I came to the semifinals here. It's always very good to get far to a tournament, and I learned maybe to come in a little bit more even against the #1 player in the world. So give him a little bit more pressure, and next time we'll see what happens.
What do you think about your chances the rest of the year? What are you looking forward to? What are your goals for the rest of the season?
Well, first of all, to stay healthy and try to play as many tournaments as I can throughout the year. It's my first really ATP year, so try to stay in the top 50, maybe get into the top 40 now, and take it step by step.
All right, Tommy, great match.
Thank you.
All right, well, Tommy Haas, we're going to hear a lot more from him, a very talented youngster. His idol, Boris Becker, and certainly one of the rising young stars in the game, Tommy Haas out of Germany, who has trained so well in Florida. Let's go back to Leif Shiras now, who is with Pete Sampras. Leif.
Barry, thanks. Pete Sampras, another great match. You started off a little slowly, got down a break against a talented young player. What got you into gear today? How'd you get it going?
Well, that's a good question. I got off to a really bad start. I've gotten off to a bad start all week. I've lost my first service game. He played extremely solid in the beginning. I just kind of tightened up my tennis when I had to. I thought I played really well, but Tommy's improved. He's only 19 years old. He's going to have a good future. Every time I played him, it just gets better and better, but it was a good win.
You came in a lot today. You served and volleyed and showed some good variety. You like the serving and volleying here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's been pretty good to me in Philadelphia.
Well, this is really where it all started for you back in 1990, so it must be a special feeling to come back here and play it.
It's always nice to come back. 1990, that was my first title win here. A couple months later, I won the U.S. Open. So Philadelphia has always been very important for me. I play just about every year, and it's good to be back.
Well, what are your thoughts on your match tomorrow? Enquist and Leroux. Any thoughts on who might come through there? And
it's really hard to say. They're both playing very well. Enquist is a very tough Swedish player. Got a big serve, backs it up with some really good ground strokes. Leroux, beat Jim Courier a couple days ago, so it's going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to whoever I play.
And what are you going to do tonight in preparation for tomorrow?
Like I do every night, I'll just go back and chill out and get a massage, a little room service, and get ready for tomorrow.
All right, congratulations, Pete Sampras.
Thanks.
All right, a very happy Pete Sampras. We are at the Core State Center in Philadelphia. Stay with us. We're going to get a chance to see an excitable American when we return. Jeff Durango, stay with us.